All right, Brooklyn Batman, how's it going?
So yeah, it's a good day, man. Everything's good, man. How's it going with you?
Everything is good. Grinding, same. Getting it in.
As you should, you know.
Well, I thought we'd get right into it, get to know you a little bit better, get to know your story and everything.
Mm.
For people who don't know, where you from?
From Brooklyn. I mean, like that's the obvious Brooklyn Batman. You know what I'm saying? Brooklyn, New York. You got them cities here, man. Don't be a joker. You know?
What part of Brooklyn are you from?
East New York, but I'm more so like a foster kid, one of those foster kid babies. So I was one of those that just jumped around from East New York, Flatbush, Brownsville, Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights. I even lived in Queens at one point. You know, I even did a year in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on some adopted kid shit. We went out there. You know, that was a whole nother world, and they sent me right back. You know, group home foster kid shit. You know, but majority of my life is Brooklyn. You know, that's where my influence comes from. That's where my roots is from. You feel me?
You mentioned you were in group homes. What happened that had you in group homes?
So, like in my early days, remember that time when like Aladdin first came out? You know, my mom she took me out at a 7 year old age to see Aladdin and shit. But my mom was already kind of going through a schizophrenic period in her life. So she used to have like if she gets upset, she'll just lash out, you know? So, you know, we on 42nd Street going to the movie theater with her and my grandma, and what happened was it got so crowded, I dropped like my piece of candy bar, and I went to try to go no, matter of fact, I'm lying, not a candy bar, one of those little gumball machines that you know how you drop and it bounces all over the place, the little rubber balls.
Yeah.
And me being, a youngin', I'm trying to go find the balls. I lost her. And when she found me, she just beat the dog brakes out of me. Like, where you going? Dot, 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 dot. You know, I cried or whatever. My grandma started arguing and stuff like that. And her schizophrenic kicked in, but I didn't understand, those type of lashes, those type of bipolar behaviors. And she just told me out of nowhere, I hope you die type shit, you know? And I looked at her crazy and I just took off. You know, me running, I never found my way back. Ended up sleeping in park benches in Manhattan and stuff like that. And one day the police picked me up, asking me, where your mom's at, to put me through the precinct. And the funny thing about, those police officers, they had no real intentions of even bring me back to my mom's, but me being at 7, they gotta kind of like break you into the situation. So they put me into a room with a bunch of other kids that was just like me, found on the street, and that shit was just like DFY. Like that was like another, like the first entry of prison, because we all in this one little room, no carpet. I think it was like 5 toys and 20 kids, and we all wild and crazy. So when we want to play, we want to play. So we beating each other up for the toys. Funny, we start clicking up, in the whole room. Like, yo, we gonna be, yo, where you from? Yeah, my name is Okay, yeah, we're They over there. You got one kid. We was there for 24 hours, and the bad thing about it is they say they gave us 2 options while we was in the room. They used to be like, um, you want to wait here for your mom, or you want to come with us and we give you some food, warm bed to sleep in. Mind you, it's cold in that whole room, you know? And it was like, the more so you waited to wait for your mom, you just stayed there longer. Slowly but surely, when kids get beaten up and they get scared, they started giving in. Yo, I want the food in the warm bed. They start getting hungry. I want the food. We all weaning out. I was one of the few that stayed because I kept on believing that my mom was gonna come get me. She never came, and that kind of like formed a little bit of resentment, a little bit of a bitterness. So from then and on, that started my journey. You know, my mom ain't come for me and check on me maybe for like another year and a half.
Damn.
Whoa.
How old were you when this happened?
7.
7 years old.
Yeah.
Man, that's young. And so while you're in this group home, are you going to school or anything, or?
So the first group, we went to I went to a few of them. The first level, it was like a reception center almost, kind of like one whole building, and they had different floors. Like one floor was all girls, my floor was all boys, and the school was in the same building, you know? And we had counselors, things of that nature. But it was wild crazy in there because you had counselors trying to like violate the other kids. Like if they talk back, they was doing the restraining order, pick you up, slamming you on the floor. I'm talking about like 200-pound man putting his knee on your back with the cross, you know, that crossover lock to keep you to restrain. And that shit, it should make us angry because you know how you slamming us on the floor just because we telling you, you know, we want an extra cookie or we want a, you know, extra slices of bread and chicken and things of that nature. You know, it seemed like it was always a pressure when you wanted more out of life. You know what I'm saying? But
Damn.
that's neither here nor there, man. I ain't trying to, you know.
Yes. Okay. So you stay there a year and a half, and your mom come back, and your mom finally picks you up,
She ain't pick me
or
up.
you finally reunite with your mom.
She ain't pick me up. She just checked on me, like, you know, like, how's everything going? And I just kind of looked at her crazy, like, you know, why you ain't come back to me? And she said she's trying to go through some things. When I went to the next foster home, cause that foster home was crazy, like they had counselors like molesting kids. You know, they violated my man Jesus, you know, in the middle of the night, and I got in trouble for sticking up for him. That was another restraining order I got, you know, and it was like, damn if you do, damn if you don't, you know. We just trying to be normal kids, and we getting punished for every little left thing, you know. Then I go to the foster home in East New York, over there by Liberty and Sheffield, and that neighborhood was crazy. Like East New York, Brooklyn, around that time, 90s and stuff like that. Like we could go crazy back and forth. The different type of, you know, gunshots over there during the Friday night movie theaters. That right there on the outside when they having the movie theaters outside, right there on Sheffield. You know, the foster homes going through a whole nother family that don't even give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? And one time I ran away from that home from East New York, Brooklyn. Anybody that know from New York, East New York is the end of Brooklyn, so it's right next to Queens. My mom was living in Queens at that time, you know? And I literally like walked from East New York down to Atlantic Avenue, and you run, if you know anything, take your GPS map, you'll see from East New York, Atlantic Avenue go all the way to Queens. And all I did was follow the bus, you know? Middle of the night after that big brawl we had, you know, I just got tired of that foster home, ran away. After they literally locked me in the door, locked me in my own room. And once I had the little crack, I just broke open to the door and just sucker punched Ray Ray. He got cleaned out. I knew I had to get up out of there because I knew once he get up, he was on my ass because he was the bigger kid, you heard? Like, I knew I drugged him, you heard? He fell, I'm off there. I ain't going back there, it's lit. So I went all the way to my mom's house, all the way from Atlantic Avenue, walking all the way down, you know, over time. And this is like when I'm 9, so this is 2 years later. Years all the way down, get back to my mom. She sees me, you know, she lets me in because, you know, I'm obviously, I got no jacket, I'm cold. And I'm thinking she's gonna let me stay. I wake up, she's like, yeah, I'm about to take you to school. I'm like, all right. And she take me right back to the Brookwood, it was Brookwood Child Care Agency, you know? And that over time started building this little resentment. you know, of not being wanted, not being accepted by somebody that you love that's supposed to be there for you, you know? All that, here, that leads to the, street life and things of that nature. Group home, foster home. It's like a system that they put up for us, you know? Group home, foster home, institution, jail, prison, parole, you know? I wonder if that's the system that was placed for us.
Yeah, man. Damn, that sounds rough, man. Going through all that, man. That's a young age too. That's a young age to have to go through all that, man.
Yeah.
Eventually, I take it, you end up, you continue through school, and do you ever go back with your mom and start living with your mom again?
Nah. I think she used to come visit like here periodically, but I just stayed like going to group home to foster home. The next foster home I went from there when she put me back to Brookwood Child Care. She put me back into they put me into the home, the Paulsons over there in Crown Heights. That was crazy. That was like my first introduction to like gang culture, you know? And at this time, this is like the early 90s, New York City for the African American kids was just all blood at that time, you know? All blood, like, and I couldn't really phantom it because I'm just like, I'm there. We got the older foster sister. I was the only boy at that time. And I go downstairs, go outside, get the dollar fry. You get to know the kid. The big friend was Marcus. You can't, one thing about Brooklyn, you can't even open up anything to eat because somebody gonna want a piece. They gonna eat your dollar fry. Back in the days, that was like, we might have to fight over these last fries type situation, you feel me? You got $1, that's 20 pieces of candy, you feel me? And
Yeah.
the Bloods had these kids going on crazy. And at this time, if you was African American, they just like, yo, is you blood or what? Is you blood or what? Is you blood or what? I couldn't really fathom that because this block where I was at this foster home, it was no blood. Well, it was sporadic, but the block over is all bloods. We was like the only block that was not trying to be on some gang timing because Marcus' brother PJ was guard body, so nobody didn't want to condone anything of that nature because at that time the Bloods was cutting old ladies, they doing all types of craziness, and being in that foster home, I couldn't stay that long because when I got older and went to 390, I got smoked by all the Bloods because I didn't want to become blood, So they moved me to another foster home over there in Crown Heights, like across the bridge, which is MS 61, and there was a bunch of Crips over there, And I ain't gonna lie, I'm looking at them, I'm like, oh, they got beef with Bloods and they kind of fly and all of that. I thought they were superheroes. I ain't never see a Crip at that time. I'm like, yo, there's people going against the Bloods over here. It's lit. It's lit after that,
Okay, and so now you're at this group home, and it's mostly Crips there. And is it like a bunch of different Crips from different areas, or
at this
is
time,
it just like one hood?
this is more. It was more about 8 and G Stone Crips at this time. This is like by like MS61, mostly G Stone Crips, influenced by 8 and shotguns. It was a set called not shotguns, UGC, United Gangster Crips. That was around the time with like Winky, Cav. It's a whole bunch of like movements of like UGC, G Stones, and 8 at this time. And when I saw Crips, I didn't even know nothing about the history of Crips. Like I don't know the origination. I don't know that it's from Cali or anything of that nature. We just on some like, we want to revolute towards the evil. And at that time, Bloods in my eyes at that time was very evil because they was always bullying. They get deep, they was jumping you, robbing you, things of that nature. And I just looked at them as superheroes, and they was getting money and stuff like that. I used to chill with them. We get the beef patty and cocoa bread right there on Golden Crest. Anybody know about Brooklyn? You know about Golden Crest. We gotta get the beef patty, cocoa bread, toasted, a little bit of butter. Feel me? Cheese is very important. The cheese is very important. Don't be a joker. You know what I
All
mean?
right, and at one point you actually become an 8 tray.
No, this is how it started. So New York is different. The way New York happens with the gang banging, New York is bangs different than LA. New York bangs in the nature of like the Warriors. You ever seen the movie Warriors?
Yeah. Yep.
It's more cliquish than territory turf, you know? So
Okay.
during the time, there's more like a revolution. At this time, I was more getting a put on from G Stones, which was a Brooklyn set at that time, right? And I never got my official paperwork because after I got the put on, and we had a big brawl by Empire Skating Ring, and there was I don't want to say nothing on on this interview, but it was a situation that led to some gunfire, and some people got hurt or injured. I got sent to another foster home, a group home way out the state in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I never really got all my paperwork and teachings even after the put on and initiation fully. So we lose contact with like the big homies and things of that nature and getting in tune because I'm jumping around. But I go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There's gangs over there, you know. I went to Brondale High School, and it was like a nice school because it was like a nice little suburb area that still had like inner city influences. And they had Vice Lords, GDs, and I met a real live LA blood. His name is Chris Beckley. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what set he was because we was kids, but I remember he used to have the red shirt with the FUBU on it. You know what I mean? And this was a time when like the Biggie and Tupac beef was kind of like, you know, this is after they died, right after. This is like mid 90s. I'm, middle school. And it was bad tensions because he was from LA and he was blood and I was from New York and I was a Crip. I'm repping G Stone, but I don't got all my like orders and where it come from because I'm still a kid. And that was the first time I actually saw a respectable, nice blood in my whole entire life. And he was not pussy or nothing like that. But I remember we met in the hallway, and he was just like, "So you Crip? You from New York?" I'm like, "Why you ask me all the questions that you already know?" I'm thinking it's about to be on time. So he was like, "You know what?" The teacher's like, "Oh, break it up, break it up, break it up." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna see you." Yo, listen, after school, I'm thinking I'm about to go to the fight. His brother pull up in some type of car, his older brother. And he was on some like, and I knew he had the gun on him and all that. That was like the first time like I really saw like a blood was gonna really try to clap a kid, but he didn't. He didn't want to clap me. He basically was on some saying like, yo, we just left LA with this gang shit. We here in Milwaukee trying to get our life together. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure you is too. I don't know what they do out there in New York, but I'm not here for that. I actually respected him, and me and Chris became like good friends over there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We kind of clicked up too, especially on the basketball team, because I was nice. I was N1, Sham Garden. They had the camera. That was my first time. Like, that was a suburb. New York don't do that. We just play ball, and that's it. There, they got the cameras, they got the audience, they got the whole, you get the newspaper if you score 20 points in the local newspaper, And I respected that. That was my first interaction with seeing like another blood, not trying to be on some oppressive shit. And we got cool, But I ended up getting into an altercation out there with with some officers and some vice lords or whatever after a school game. And forced them, shout out to Mrs. Ship because, you know, they love me to death. You know, they taught me how to read properly. They got me into books. They got me into education. But mentally, I just wasn't ready for it, even though they was trying to give me a life. I was kind of like, you know, tainted a little bit. That was like putting like a wild lion inside your living room, you know? I couldn't transition fast enough for me to develop. And I had an altercation with some vice lords, you know, at a basketball school game. And then, you know, she just got tired of me and she said, maybe, you know, you should go back to New York. And then I went back to New York and then there you have it. It was lit.
Did you go back to New York and go to high school?
Yeah, I went to a foster home in Queens, over there by Shadyville.
Okay, and so now you're back in New York. You're older now,
Hmm.
and you're in Queens. Do you link up with your homies back in Brooklyn?
That's the funny shit. So I linked up back to the homies in Brooklyn, but I really was trying to link up back with Marcus, who's really my childhood friend, because at that same time, you know, you a kid. Oh, that was middle school time that incident happened at Empire Skating Ring. So everybody's still broken up. The only homies I didn't link up with was Kev, Shamik, and Ashley. They was UGCs, but I never really got in tune with them. Back in tune with them. I was really more so concerned with Marcus. And Marcus, by the time I came back, he was a blood. And that shit kind of fucked me up, you know, because I was like, you know, I thought you didn't like bloods, you know? I thought we was going against the oppressors, like, you know? And you know, that's how much influence the blood culture was at that time. And now I'm in a foster home in Queens, and I'm linking up with the other Crips, which is like Santana Club, Payback, 111 Payback. That was Blue Black and PJ from Ozone Park. They was deep out there, I'm not gonna lie. I was EGC at that time. Now, I had to get a re-put on. That set was not necessarily really a Cali set. That set was somehow branched out of Chicago, you know? But like I said, at this time, we just wanted to be Crip. You know, we just get adjusted to a whole nother set because I never got re-put on, restructured at that age to the Get Straights. So I got re-put on to the EGC, which was Internal Gangster Crip, which I come to find out wasn't really a stronghold in the New York system until I got caught up for a robbery at 17, and I actually touched Rikers Island in the 4 building. You know?
Okay, so at 17, you get caught up in a robbery.
Yeah, at this time, you know, I'm back in Queens. I'm linking up with all different Crips from all over, 111 Paybacks and Ozone Park. And because we got to remember, at this time in New York, there's no Crip on Crip beef. Like, you see another Crip with a blue flag, you like, oh my God, I love you, because we are so outnumbered. Like, we ain't care about nothing of that nature of like how LA had it, you know, how they beef with each other with their sets. So, you know, the A-Trays I was fucking with was, shout out to Rain. He was always A-Tray, the cuz Rain. And he was going to back and forth. We used to link on Jamaica Ave, have a bunch of riots right there. You know, even though we was getting outnumbered, sometimes we was getting beat. I ain't gonna lie, the Bloods was catching us sometimes, jumping us left and right, you know? But the A-Trays that I was fucking with was in Queens, that was raining them. But we still was more so EGC, which at that time was Psych. And they eventually converted to Santana Block Crip, you know, because everything was getting cleaned up, because a lot of the New York sets didn't have homes. Like, they didn't have fully lineage ties. So it's all getting cleaned up over the years as we go into jail and prison. But when I go to jail, you know, adolescence was a little bit more like gladiator school, and it wasn't really structured into the point of oh, you Crip, you Blood. It was more like where you from, where you was at, and are you with it or not at that time. I beat that robbery case, went home, and I went back to another force home in East New York. No, I'm lying. I went to a force home in Flatbush. Now I get to Flatbush, that's where it's lit. This is where I'm starting to get more in tune with the A trays. That's over there in Vanderveer Projects on 28th in Clarendon. There was 8 trays, and I was like, yo, I'm in heaven right now. There's a whole bunch of Crips. It's lit, you know. And that history of Vanderveer, everybody know Vanderveer was literally the first Crip projects at that time. Right now, you know, it's folks. You know, that's a whole nother story. You know, if you want to get into that.
Okay,
However,
you mentioned being in Rikers Island.
yeah.
Now, were you like with adults in Rikers Island, or is there
Nah,
like?
we adolescent. I was adolescents first. The only time when I went back to adults was when I went to Flatbush, got in tune. Even though I still had my ties with the EGCs in Queens, I stayed loyal to the EGCs because I didn't believe in that jumping ship, things of that nature. But I was always associated with all the A trades from Vanderveer and Brownsville, which was back west, Bluestone, Blue Steel, over there in the 1000s, and in Brownsville. And I got shot 2005 for, you know, trying to hustle over there on Nostrand and Beverly, and that side was mostly blood.
Can you take me through what happened?
Man, then you bringing me back to a crazy dark place. I ain't gonna speak too much of it, but rest in peace, Max. He was A-Tray gangster off of 28th and Avenue D, but he was more, his ties still was Vanderveer. And me and him was like best friends at that time over there. And me and him used to build a lot while we start hustling. You know, selling out little weed, you know, ounces, 8 balls of crack, you know, or between most of the back blocks, not Vanderveer, but more like the back blocks like Avenue D, Nostrand, 2 Knife was down, that's the Bloods, but like 2/8, 2/6, all the way to Flatbush Avenue, these sides in the back blocks. And we had like little dreams like, yo, we gotta clean this up. We can't keep on hustling all the time. Let's go back to school. We went to intermediate college at the time, and we're just gonna save our bread and we're just gonna invest into the music because I was still associated with the EGCs, and they had a group called C Team, as Coat Team, and I was seeing how they was moving with the music at that point. And I got partnered and associated with another rap group called Re-Up. That was Jackpot and Rock. Rock was actually GKB Blood, but he was mad cool. That was another Blood that he didn't care about none of that Crip and Blood shit. He just wanted to make music and things of that nature. So I was like, yo, let's go back to college and start a business. You know, let's learn this the right way. And he was like, all right. So while me and him is saving up and getting our bread and things of that nature, the Bloods started seeing that we was making a lot more money than usual. And there's a dude named, I'm not gonna say his name and all of that. One of their big homies on 29th came home, and he was kind of putting the pressure like, why you got these Crips out here making money and things of that nature, wooty woo. So I'm like, you know, if he gotta go, he gotta go. It is what it is. If he has to. Make the long story short, an altercation happened, a little bit of rumble. I got stabbed in my hand, and he manipulated my friend Max that I was trying to line him up and turn him over to the Bloods, because of course, you know, Bloods had this demeanor because they was mostly dominating on that side to flip on him. And I don't know why he believed that, because I'm like, why would I flip on you? Me and you been in this together. And he was just like, you know, I prove it to me. You know, I went and proved it, you know. However I proved it, we don't gotta talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So I I proved it that I wasn't the one setting them up, and I pissed off the wrong people, because these dudes was older. Like the dude that was a control of that situation over there by Beverly and Nostrand, he was not happy, and they was using customers and custies and things of that nature and fiends, and they put the pressure on them where I met them right there on Rogers and Avenue D. It's a building right there on Rogers and Avenue D. And I got the fiend in the hallway. I'm out to serve him and stuff like that. But he's like, yeah, I got some, some more for my friend. And the dude came out, and came out, but he had like, he was rough, but he didn't look too much fiendy. He was more normally. So I'm looking at him like, yo, who's that? And he was like, nah, he just wants something. So when he pulled out the money, that kind of took my senses off. But even before I went to the building, I knew something was wrong. You know how you ever have, humans have like a little spider sense, like something was wrong. You could feel it in the air, like that tension. And while I'm in the hallway and he's coming, I felt that. But before I got to the building, I text my foster brother Lyle, shout out to Lally, like, yo, come meet me in the building. I think I need some change. I'm about to run out. But I just kind of wanted him to just come link me. And the dude that came, he just rushed me out of nowhere. We fighting, tussling, back and forth, punching him, yoking him, but we just more so like struggling back. And he like, yo, I got him. I heard mad steps. I looked to the right, and son just had the pistol like right there, like right. I literally like in my face, I tried to knock it down like this, and I guess when it hit, he just let off. Bow. Hit my chest. I fell down the steps. He hit me. I heard another shot, but I'm like into like a shock in my mind to where, I don't know. I'm like, am I shot or am I not? Because I don't really feel it, because when you get shot, you don't really feel the bullets,
Yeah.
So I'm on the floor. When I fell down the steps, I stand up, I get up. They scattered. I'm by myself. I open the door to get out the building, and my brother pulls up. If it wasn't for my brother Lyle, because I told him, you'll come meet me, I'm gonna run out, I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't be here in front of you, He grabbed me, I came out the building. I walked towards his car. He's like, yo, get inside. I hopped in the back, and I just started slowly losing my breath, getting short breaths. But he on parole at this time, He drive me to Kings County Hospital. He moving. Get to the parking lot at Kings County Hospital, and he didn't want to get violated on parole, so he was like, yo, bro, I gotta let you out right here. I'm gonna just park and I'm gonna meet you. Yeah, I didn't care, I'm just going through my own situation. So he just let me out right in front of the emergency door, and I just laid on the floor. The sad thing about it was, you ever wonder why like young kids that's in these streets, in these trenches, they really don't fear death? Because they're already going through a lot of trauma anyway. Emotional pain is worse than physical pain. And it's scary to me because while I was laying there on the ground, I felt myself fading away, and it was comfortable. Like it was quiet. It was peace a little bit. And I just kind of started giving up and accepting it. Cause life is fucking hard, you heard? And
Yeah.
when the ambulance picked me up, I was upset, dead ass. You heard? The ambulance picked me up. My brother came, got me, why he's coming, because he had to park the car. And then, he made himself like he was associating it, like he was just coming to help me. And the ambulance is just ripping up my clothes. I'm butt naked now, Johnson hanging, It's crazy, you heard? Like how, like, I'm like in my mind, like, why are they ripping up my clothes? All I know is they stuck a needle in me, eyes closed. I woke up and I'm just tubed up, IV all through my nose. And that was where the pain was. The bullet wasn't the pain. The actual hospital experience, that was pain, And it was back to back. Like every time I had to swallow the tube, it was hurting. I pulled it out. I felt relief. All of a sudden, the blood is going back to your lungs. I can't breathe. So either way, I damn if I do, damn if I don't. And I recovered over like 2-3 weeks. I had a girl named at that time, Joy. She was from the Bronx, Spanish mommy. Shout out to you, wherever you at. Yeah, nah, Joy was fire, I ain't gonna lie. But I ain't gonna hold you. So she came, and literally the realest, when I knew it was real, and at this time, I'm speeding up. We doing the music thing pretty well at this time. We doing shows at the Pyramid. This is the time when Nims was hot. I don't know if you know about Nims. Bing Bong, you familiar with him? Yo, he had that fuck your life shit moving in New York. I ain't gonna hold you. And we was performing around that time, dealing with Hustler DVD. At this time, I had like this little bit of management, even though I associated with the Coat team. I had this little management group with a cat named Ray Hamilton, but he's a weirdo. That's another story. But the dudes that did that to me, they actually came back to the hospital to finish me off.
Oh shit.
Like literally the nurse came and was like, yo, I care about you, but I don't want my life in danger. It's not a good idea for you to stay here. Literally, Joy's like, yo, we gotta get up out of here. She helped take the IV. She didn't even wait for me to sign out. She just got me into the back door. Joy, she was a rider, I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to her, shout out to Joy. Like she limping me. We get to the, cause this is Kings County Hospital. We limped to like, all the way to blocks, all the way to like the Q train. And we went all the way to the Bronx. I'm on the train, looking skinny, looking like Tales from the Crips. Yeah, it's crazy, And that kind of like triggered me, my anger and resentment, to the Bloods at that time. Even though Rock was the only exception, because Rock saved my life many times when we was over there in Bushwick. He always stuck up for me. He was the only one that got a pass. But shout out to Rock.
Oh, you only got shot one time?
Nah, I got shot twice. It was one right here on my chest and one on the side.
Okay, and how long did it take you to fully recover?
Probably like a month,
Damn. That's not too bad for a gunshot.
Yeah, it's not too bad because the only problem was it was the bullet that went through the lungs that caused bleeding, and it was one of those little small deuce bullets that had the hollow tip that broke inside of you. So when it hit, the bullet breaks up and the fragments start twisting shit up, you know? One of those type of situations. That's actually worse because it was inside of you and one of the fragments was in my spine and still in my spine to this day, you know? That they were trying to say I wasn't gonna be able to walk, so I had to go through a little therapy for like 3 weeks, but I was okay. You know, I limped up out of that. I limped, you know, when it's time to live, you want to get up out of there, you feel me? So
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that you're shot, how are you feeling? Are you like feeling like you're invincible? Are you going right back to the streets? Well, what do you do with yourself?
at that time, so I healed up in the Bronx. They sent me to another foster home from Flatbush to East New York at this time. And this is where like I really get linked in with the A trade. Shout out to Caleb. You know, free that man, Kenny Birch. You know, he's doing 25 to life right now. He's the last time he's in Auburn now. He just left Clinton.
How old are you now? And you link up with the 8trays?
Yeah, I'm linked up in the A trades, but I'm still loyal to EGCs because I never believed in that just hopping ship. But EGC still was under the gangster card. So we still could associate with A trades. So A trades was always like a second home at that time. But I end up going to East New York, getting involved deeper in the gang culture. That's a whole nother story. And I caught a gun charge back to back. I caught like 2 of them, you know? The first one, I went back to the island for like 4 months. That was a whole nother gladiator
How old
school.
are you at this time? Are you still a juvenile?
This is like 18. So I'm just being able to get into the adults, you know? It's like
Okay.
that happy medium there where they allowing adults to go into Rikers Island.
Are you
And
running into Bloods when you go to jail now?
yo, listen. So I'm a man, I'm gonna keep it real. If you was Crip in that time, talking about this is early 2000s, like 2005, 2006, 2007. Nobody could never say, like, you had to be a warrior. Like, when I'm saying warrior, it's lit. Like, so when I caught the second gun charge, let's talk about the first gun charge. I caught the first gun charge in Queens, going to do some shit that I could have been put away. You know, make the long story short. DTs snatched me up on the way, get jammed up, things of that nature, go straight to the island, gladiator school, right? I'm in the 3 building at this point, but I'm more in the dorm section. I ain't hit the max where the cells is at. Back to back. Getting jumped here, next house. Getting jumped here, next house. Getting jumped there, next house. And I finally landed into a house where I could kind of stay, get settled out, did my time, right? But still, I'm in the dorm area, so it's not fully maxed out. I come home on it was like a probation period where you do half your time, you do 6 months on the island, which is 4 months, and you get probation. As soon as I get out, I get involved in everything in East New York. It's lit. I caught another gun charge in Lower East Side. And I ain't gonna say this, but you know, Rock, you know I love you. That, you know, Rock and all the people that was around me at that time, you know what happened and transpired that day. When the DTs came and I had a car at this time. I had a 300C Benz at this time, right? So I was getting a little bit of bread. I'm not saying I was a baller, but I was all right. You know what I mean? I had a 300C 1985. So that's good for like, you know, an 18-year-old, you know,
Yeah. Hell
you
yeah.
know, 18-year-old, at 10 seats, all black. The back seat was litty with the thotties, you feel me? You know, because I'm not paying for a hotel at that time. I was cheap as hell, so the back seat was lit. So when they searched the car, it wasn't mine, but I'm not gonna sit up here and say who's who, what they what, things of that nature. I get there, I actually have the little bit of money that time to bail out. I bail out, going back and forth to court. The music is starting to get hot now. Hot, hot, hot. And this is when I'm starting to rethink a lot of things. I don't want to say too much, but even that case that happened to me, that was somebody watching me at that time. And in the music industry, in the music business, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about that because things is realer than what could be. But they just say at that period of time, the C team is in my music career was really hot at that time. This round like Jinx the Juvie was hot. I told you about Nims. Before Uncle Murder, there was a dude named Enough Skills. I was around Jeff Chronicles. I was doing the 106 in Park, behind the scenes, the showcases, Pyramid. And when I got jammed up, I had a lot of anger and resentment because even though it wasn't my pistol, I also knew who directed the energy for me for to know that who there was guns in the car, you know? And I was out on the street getting hot, and I actually had an ultimatum by the so-called guy that was managing my music career, at that time. And I ain't really want to take that type of deal. So I just took my ass to prison, Shout out to Kalo. He held me down that day. That what happened, what transpired that day. Maybe one day as we get older we'll talk about it, but I'm not obliged to really talk about it.
All right, so you get to jail, right?
Yeah.
And the Crips are heavily outnumbered in there.
Yeah, so at this time I'm kind of like, poverty was a bad thing for me. I was definitely ashamed of poverty, and knowing that I'm going back to jail, I knew that all this little success that I was gaining momentum was gonna be clipped. All the money clipped. It's over with, I get back to jail. Now because it's my second time on the island, I'm not in no dorms no more. They send me to cells. It's lit. As soon as I get into the house, they like, yo, what's cracking, cuz? What's cracking? Da 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 da. I'm hearing the accent. I'm like, these are not Crips. Like, these are not Crips. Like, they're like, it was cracking. See khaki, see cool. They extra with the Crip lingo and stuff like that. So they sent a colorblind, which is in our lingo neutrals. They're like, yo, you banging? They saying across the hall. Mind you, when they brought me inside the house, they knew the COs knew it was gonna be drama. They brought me in late after lock-in. So everybody talking on the gate. They're like, he like, yo, you gang affiliated? I said, yeah, I'm a Crip. He said, oh man. And got mad quiet. I said, wow, what's up? He said, yo, bro, I'm letting you know, those people that's on the gate, they're not Crips. That's all I'm gonna say. I said, it's lit. I ain't sleep that whole night, because I know early in the morning, Frosties is a must. At 6:30 morning lockout. I'm doing push-ups. I think I had a gray sweatsuit at that time, plain gray sweatsuit, and I had the what made it worse too, because they was upset. I had the black and red and white 11s. You know the 11s that's like black, white, and it got the red at the bottom.
Yep.
So they like, oh, he's stepping on Bloods. He disrespecting Bloods and things of that nature. Listen, as soon as that gate opened, it was like they was ready too. Like it was like they was like sturdy because they got quiet. That's when you know the house is dangerous, when it's quiet before the storm because they already getting ready. As soon as that gate open, I start seeing people trickle, but I don't know who's who, what's what. I'm not gonna lie, I sucker punched the first dude I saw. And it could have been a Muslim, could have been a king, it could have been a neutral, but I knew it was lit because the neutral, the colorblind already told me it's lit. I sucker punched them, they ramshacked me, beat me damn near half to death. I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't a superhero yet at that time. You know what I'm saying? And when it got it real, when the officers pepper sprayed it and he pulled me, I seen one dude try to come and swing at me. And he caught me, and I caught like a nip on my back of my jacket. I mean, not my jacket, my sweatsuit, and my whole sweatsuit was ripped, like torn, you know? That shit woke me up, I swear to God, on Crip. Like, I'm here. This is not gladiator school. This is not none of that. It's lit. The next house, I used to go drop my bag right at the A and B gate, getting out, cranking it. Boop! Drugging niggas. I don't give a fuck what you was, who you was, is you would. If I don't know that there's Crips in the house, I'm not staying there. I kept on doing that until I went to to the 5 building, and I ended up running to Mano Loc. I was quad 4 upper. Man, oh yeah, matter of fact, I'm lying. Before I even get there, they sent me to the light side on the project side in the 5 building, and I ended up getting DP behind this too, because you know, all my life, even so there was always oppression by Bloods, it was always like 1 or 2 Bloods that didn't hate Crips, and it was like associated with a close friend or family. And there was a dude named S. Dot. I get into the house. He's like, yo, L Banger, yo, what's up? I'm like, oh, what's up, S. Dot? He said, yo, come here. I said, what's up? What's going on in this house? He said, yo, listen, I ain't gonna lie. It's all Bloods, but you sanctioned. I'm like, I'm not sanctioned. I'm about to get out of here. He said, nah, don't put me in a situation. And he saved me. Make the long story short, he said, I'm about to go tell the homies, you family, I'm gonna go to the yard. He even went and told the police. When they went to the yard and told me that I was in that house, that means when I come back, it's lit. He told the police, yo, listen, he gotta go. And before I came back, they locked me in the cell. But some of them Blood dudes was pussy. Let me tell you why. Because as soon as I get inside the cell and they lock my cell, the dude, some older Blood dudes talking crazy. Yeah, son, why did you let me in there with cuz? Why you didn't say all of that when I was coming through the building, when I was coming in, you didn't say shit. You knew I was Crip because I was talking to S. Dot. Why you didn't crank it then? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a corny shit. At that time, I started learning that their strength in numbers made them weak alone. You know? Because a lot of times, when you always deep, you part of the popular crowd, you're not really trained to go against 5, 10. Your 1-on-1 game ain't all official. Now, mind you, granted, like, I ain't not gonna lie, there's some official Bloods. Shout out to L Rider, shout out to T.I. that I ran into, you know? But a lot of them was still like, they was used to the numbers, you know? And he was one of them. So I used to want to torture one of those type of dudes. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hold you. You know? They send me, they pack me up, they send me out. I go downstairs to this like receptionist because they don't know where to put me at this time. They don't really, come to find out, they didn't want to send me to Quad 4 Upper yet because Crips was starting to form in that building. But I didn't know that. Only Mano Loc told me. He said, yo, listen, when he passed, because I thought he was Blood, he was like, yo, you Crip? I told him, suck my dick. Because I didn't know if he was Crip or not. You know what I'm saying? Because the Bloods was pretending to be Crip because there was so many Crips low riding. The Bloods used to pretend to be Crip to catch a Crip, you know? So when he's like, yeah, it was cracking,
What do you mean by low riding?
So low riding means like you're not acknowledging that you Crip.
Okay.
you know? So Mano was like, yo, what's cracking? I was like, yo, suck my dick. I said that off the rip. It's lit, you know? He was like, yo, watch your mouth, because you're gonna see me again. Yo, I'm crypto for real, man. Yo, cuz, don't worry about it. I'ma see you though. If you still rip riding, I'ma see you. Meaning he don't want to tell me that there's a house full of Crips because he want me to earn it to get there. I have to go through a world tour. You know? World tour means you're gonna go to house, shake it here, shake it there, shake it there. And then eventually when they see when the officers SRG you, then they put you in the house with the Crips. SRG means like, you know, you're a segregated, segregated registered gang member, something like that. It's been a long time, that SRG, you know?
So most of the places, the houses were controlled by Bloods. How many of them were Bloods and versus how many were Crips?
It had to be like 30-1.
So 30 houses for every one
No,
Crip house.
30 Bloods to 1 Crip. Not to mention that 1 Crip probably was low riding. So at this time, what I mean by low riding is they're probably still sprinkled about in the in the jails, but they're just not claiming. They turn Muslim, Christian, or they just saying they neutral, So now it was some politics because with me especially, because now I get into the house, I run into Mano, that's my dog. Shout out to him. Mano, Africa.
Are you talking about the rapper Mano?
Nah. From Farragut, it was a Crip named Mano Loke. You heard? He's official. If you was from Farragut, you know about him. Mano Loke. At this time it was Africa, Luda Crip. And literally it was about that four. It was just only 4 of us at that time. Mind you, we hearing that there's a bunch of other Crips. My brother GS, I don't even know he's in the building. Shout out to him, GS. That's a big 83. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to GS. That's the front line right there. He's in the Beacon. They wilding over there. Beacon. They got Get Low over there. They got Fling, Romeo Baker. They had the Get Straight. He got, I forget cuz name, but he was one of the ones that was, paving the way for Crips in jail because his family was a captain and they used to segregate him. His hands was crazy. You had their names ain't coming to mind right now because my mind is racing. There's a bunch of homies, but make the long story short, they on their way to the 5 building where we at because they went crazy with police. The police, they stuck it up. They had a riot. They sent the turtles there. They wilding. They going crazy. Lotion on the floor. You know what time it is. Slippity slide. And they knocking turtles out. The police got tight. So they wanted to teach the Crips a lesson. So they broke them all up. And they just sent them all over to all over the Rikers Island jails. Right? To get smoked by Bloods. But they already trained. They wilding. I don't know nothing about this at this time. Because before I got to that house, to the Quad 4 Upper, I'm downstairs and they put me in the house where it was just Patia and King and Neutrals. Shout out to Pikachu and Bacalao. These dudes are, this is like another Spanish gang, but they wasn't like, on some like killer Crip shit, They was neutral. And that was the house that decided to say, we ain't gonna put every Blood in there. They gotta be with the program. So we just had a free for all. It was a couple of Stonies that was official. Shout out to Jaja, he was official. I let him come. He came in with a blue shirt. I thought he was Crip. And he's like, yeah, I'm Stone, but I like this swag. I didn't want to do nothing to him. We was there for like a week. They separated us and put us on the side. Me trying to be a revolutionary to try to keep a house for Crips. I get to the other side of the quad 4 upper, but there's only one side where all the Crips at. The other side on the B gate is like nobody there. I go in there with my son A, that was Patiao, and Joey, that was King. And we tired from moving. Mind you, I'm still young. I'm a rookie at this time. So I got the mentality where I'm just happy I'm starting to get comfortable. The mistake I did, cause you see the Crips, they waking me up. They're like, yo, come on, yo, wake up. They about to bring a blood dude named El Rada. This dude is some big, brolic blood dude, eye looking crazy. He got a cut on his face. He got the three cigarette burns on his shoulder. This dude was super blood. You know El Rada, his name was El Rada at that time. But I don't know, I'm still kind of jogging. Let me tell you what mistakes I made. I don't know, you interviewed a lot of tough guys, so let me see if you understood the rules of this. But I get out the shower, I got my slippers, no, I get out my cell to go take a shower, I got my slippers on and a towel, and I'm walking all the way down the block, on the cell block, to the shower that's all the way in the front in my slippers. Obviously, you know what I did wrong. The rules is you don't supposed to be, if you gang banging or you active or you on the island, you don't never walk with slippers, or you consider slipping. I'm walking in with the slippers. The dude El Rada coming in there. He got his wife beater. He ready to go. The reason why I respect El Rada, because he thought it was a house full of Crips and he still came in. You know? That's why I respected him. At this time, you know, I'm 19 now, but I'm still like aqua fresh. I'm walking, got the towel in my hand. He come, he get next to me, past me. He put one bag into the thing, and something just told me. I felt the energy. I said, yo, you banging? No, I didn't say that. I said, yo, it's cracking. You banging? Yo. He said, what? That's when I realized I fucked up, you heard? He said, what? I said, was crap. He lift my shit. Boom. My whole shit just went up in the air. Like literally like Mortal Kombat. You seen Mortal Kombat? Like he punched me. I went up in the air. You know, fractured my nose literally with one punch. I think he had something in his hand too, because my whole shit got split. Nose, everything, gone. Blood everywhere. So I went in the air and actually landed on my feet with the slippers. I'm trying to fight. I'm slippering, slidering. He's swinging. All I could do, the blood went in my eye. I can't see shit. I just held on to dear life, and he throwing me around like a rag dog, because someone was wild brocking, but I wasn't letting go, you heard? It's lit, you know? Police pepper spray, I walked out, my shit fixed. Right then and there, my whole ego was bruised because I felt like a superhero, because I kept on spanking bloods, like, you know, I'm catching them off guard, you know, I'm stutter stepping, I'm like, I'm good money now after that, you know, but he just fixed my shit. What taught me was there was a little bit of a respect level, because when I saw him, I realized that he came in there thinking it was a house full of Crips, not knowing I was the only Crip, you know? So, when I saw him, I was like, yeah, I had my hand behind my back when they was escorting me to the hospital to get stitched up. He's still in the bullpens. He laid there quiet. You know, normally most people start throwing franks and all of that. I wasn't really with that. I kind of respected him for some reason. And I was like, you got that. Went, got stitched up, went back to the house. In my mind, I'm trying to redeem myself. He goes to the box arguing a bunch of other Crips that's on their way. That's how they knew my name. Because even though I took that L, I'm a youngin', I was aqua fresh, and I still pressed. he was like a big homie in that blood shit, you know? But he still wilded me up. It is what it is. But I try to redeem myself. I go back, I tell Mano, yo, we can't be living like this. And that's why I say like how the Crips in New York, we kind of like, we gang bang with a purpose, like a revolution. Cause we're trying to like live and just be comfortable. And we just tired of getting oppressed by the powers that be. So we start seeing new Crips come in. And it dude named Sway, shout out to nah, fuck that nigga, he ain't no shout out. So Sway start coming to the A and B gate, and he calls Africa, he asks Africa, he's like, yo, listen, yo, I'm gonna let y'all know I'm a Crip, but I won't even come in here if y'all bloods, you know what I'm saying? I'll just respect and leave. You basically signing in, you know? That's a no-no. But because it was so limited of us, Africa showed his tattoo that was on his arm. He like, woo, he showed his tattoo and told him, say, you know what, just come inside, you good. Soon he get in the gate, he like, yo, it's late, the homie's about to come, ding, ding, ding. And you know, to come to find out, he was 5'5" neighborhood. In my mind, I never knew there was a 5'5". That was the first time I saw a 5'5" neighborhood in my life. And he was from Flatbush, but he knew Romeo Baker and Fling from UGC. So, you know, him being 5'5" neighborhood and stuff like that. So yeah, so basically, so Sway come in, right? And he was 5'5" neighborhood. I don't know where it came from, because he literally in my whole life of the culture of gangbanging in New York was literally the first and only Crip that was 5'5" neighborhood, you know? But I don't know how that happened, because he was related to the UGs, like Fling and Romeo Baker and Butter and Winky over there on Church and 21st. But now I'm going through my process. I tell Main, so Sway coming mad hype. He like, yeah, son, it's lit. The homies on the world tour. They on the world tour. They about to be here. I'm like, word? About to be a world tour? But I'm looking at him in my mind. I'm like, bro, you was just crying behind the A, B, and B gate. You wasn't gonna come in here. You ain't had that same energy in my mind. You know? So I'm like, all right. You know, I'm just kind of speculating the sizing the situation up. Because I'm a little bitter. I just went through all of this shit. I got jumped. We got twisted. I just got my whole face lifted, lips stitched up. So I'm feeling a little way. So he telling us about all the homies that's about to come over here. The next day, I'm like, yo, we going to the yard. I ain't tell Sway. Sway never been on this side. And this side, the Crips don't go to the yard. Because every time we go to the yard and there's nothing but bloods. So a lot of the homies just stayed in. Because it was at this time, now there's only 5 of us. You know? It ain't a lot of us at this time. So why were we gonna go to the yard and get Swiss cheese? It don't make no sense. That's not pussy. That's just being smart. But I was bugged out at that time. I'm not gonna lie. I was a space cadet, and I'm not even trying to sit here and say that was the gangster shit. I think I was just a little upset that he got one off of me, and I just went because I felt like I was doing good, and I felt my whole reputation was messed up, that he left my shit like that. He just uppercut my shit. My shit looked crazy. So then I was also going through a psychological situation that they felt like it was the impression that all Crips is just pussy. We don't rep our shit. We don't do nothing. So I told Mano, I'm like, yo, we're going to the yard. We're going to bring Sway. Sway was another reason why I wanted to do that. Because I want him to go and feel some of that pain that we went through. So I had like the wrong motivations to go into their yard somewhat. Well, not really, because I didn't want us to be in the house. We need to go to the yard too and get some fresh air. Boy, oh boy. The COs already knew what's up too, because we signing up. I'm like, yo, swear, go knock on the cell. I'm like, yo, cuz, we about to go to the yard, about to work out, because I see that he a little buff and all that. So I know he want to work out. We not buff. We just a bunch of, we doing our little push-ups, but we not going to the yard with the weights and all the, we not doing none of that. We ain't playing no basketball, that's out. You feel me? So, he wakes up, he like, all right. He don't know what's going on. He in a rude, he in for a rude awakening. So, Mano with it though. Africa like, yo, y'all bugging, y'all crazy, man. You crazy, cuz why you going out there, man? You bugging, cuz you're not smart. He growling. I'm like, we out. Mano with it though. Yo, a lot of cuz. He coming. The police let us out the door. We literally only ones walking in the hallway. We sturdy though, cause we walk in the hallways. It's like we celebrities, cause you don't see Crips like that. So it's like we kind of like celebrities. Our name ringing, you know, cause it's not that many of us, you know. Walking, police like, yo, y'all take care now, and opens the door, and it was a female police. She knew what's up. We get to that yard, boy, oh boy. It looked like everybody's head was like, you ever see The Matrix? You ever see the movie The Matrix? And Neo came walking out and you see all the agents and some was like, Mr. Anderson. And you see all the agents turn their head. That's literally what happened in the yard. We go out there, they turn their head. It's like a pin drop. I was like, yo, it's about to go down right now. It didn't go down right away. Sway like, yo, who the big homie? This Blood's out here? So he's already staticky. I'm like, yo, cuz, do not talk to nobody. You stay right here. Mano like, you stay right here. He like, nah, I just want to talk to the big homie. Who's the big homie? I'm going to talk to him. I'm like, cuz, you talking to they not going to talk to you. It's lit, you know? He goes find him. And it's funny, I forgot the dude, the blood dude name, and he was kind of alright, but he wasn't because I ran into him in Comstock years ago, you know. But because of this motion, what happened to in the yard, I guess he had a little bit more respect. Mind you, I'm still a little stitched up. So I get to the yard, I see some of the Muslim dudes that I ran across, and I run into Joey, the king. He come to me. He like, yo, listen, I'm gonna let you know right now, the Kings ain't got nothing to do with it. At that time, you know, Kings kind of roll with Bloods because they was under the 5 card. They rolled the 5, you know? And because of the loyalty I had with Joey, he was on some like, yo, the Kings don't got nothing to do with it. So you good on our end. I'm like, all right. The Muslim dude like, yeah, come play ball. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to play a little ball, but Mano is watching everything. He's sturdy. Because I know it's not going to go down right now. It's going to go down when they call the early go back. Because they already trying to figure out why we out here. Obviously, we prepared. So we kind of, that's like a 48 laws of power in a sense, because we kind of moving with bold action. They want to know why we up here, out there. We out there for a real reason. We know what's up. We know what's going on. So we came to prepare. So they trying to find our angle. They also don't know who's our allies at this point. Because if we come out there, we know it's going to be a situation. So we kind of psychologically tricked them. Because they seen, you know, the king talk to me. Then they seen the Muslim talk to me. So they don't know. So in a way, now it's starting to work in our favor. Because there's wild bloods out there. But they don't know what's going on because this never happened before. Early go back. Now it's time to list. So I start creeping them finally. I'm trying to find the wall. One thing about us, we train to get jumped. So when we brawl, we try to find the nearest wall to put our back in so we can't get snuck. And we train to make sure our legs are strong and sturdy so we could be low and back against the wall. And we could pop out and we could shake and get back to the wall. We don't. So, listen, this ain't no secret cause. Like this is warrior training. This is survival. We train to survive. So the blood dude, he's coming to try to like sneak me, but I already see him. He stops right here. I just crank it on him immediately because I already know what time it is. When I hit him, he stumbled back. I didn't drop him. I tried to drop him, but he stumbled back a nice little distance, and he's trying to come in. Mano, this what made everybody kind of respect it, and it was like the first time that I feel like courage and heart is rewarded. Mano goes to try to knock son out. I stop him. I'm like, nah, it's a fair one. We not like these Bloods. That's what I said out loud. I was like, we don't jump niggas. We do fair ones. When I did that, the Muslims felt like they was obligated to help because of honor. You know what I mean? They was like, nah, it's gonna be a fair one. The Kings was like, nah, it's gonna be a fair one. Oh, it is lit. This is like movie action. Boy, oh boy. We squaring up, we going crazy. I am washing cars. Boop, 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 boop. He does, you know what most people do when they get punched in the face too much. They start rushing, and he pins me to the wall. So he just holds on. He elbowed me. I'm elbowing him, trying to get him off. And I felt bad that I told Sway to like chill. No, not Sway, I told Mano to chill. Because in the meantime, while Mano trying to watch, Mano get cut. He get cut in the yard. So I kind of felt bad, like damn. And they broke it up. And the police came, the Turtles came out. This dude Sway, once Mano got cut, it should have been a free-for-all. You know what I mean? Sway didn't do nothing. Sway just guarding the cars like, yo, the cars is good. The cars is good. No, crank it. It's lit. He got cut. Everybody, we dying tonight. It's nothing to talk about. We gotta get out of it. We leaving on stretchers. The cars got cut. And we sit back, we go back. I go to the box behind that before reciting the riot. My shit is leaking too because my shit ain't fully healed, but I definitely spanked cuz. And I go to the box, and that shit was traumatizing because them dudes is doing roll calls 24/7. Blood, we want blood, blood. My whole mental was fucked up. Like literally they get up early in the morning, and I had felt like it was like 1,000 horses saying blood, bro. On the A and B gate, on the gates, in the box. Now, like, they roll calling, that's what it's called. I finally get out the box. They only gave me 30 days. They ain't give me a lot. And I go back to the same house. They allowed me to go back to the same house. I get there all the time. You ever see the movie Colors?
Yeah.
When Rocky be like, yo, he like, yeah, you already know, cuz, da-da-da. And everybody got locked up, and he spin, and he goes to the cell, and he like, oh, Crips! Literally, that's exactly what happened. But the funny thing is, I don't know there's 15 Crips in that house. I already been there before. They just got there. But they trying to play me like they Bloods. So, you get what I'm saying? So I know it's Crips because I've seen it because people telling me, so I see them there. But when I get to the gate, they're like, what's popping? You already know. They pretending like they saying all the blood lingo just to see if I'm just looking at them. I'm looking at the niggas' faces. I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up, bro. Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, y'all good. My name is El Banger. Y'all know who I am. Let me go in the cell. And everybody start laughing and shit. And it was like, I mean, it's years ago, but I swear it was a joy to see a whole house a whole block full of Crips. It was like 15 of them. And they just wowed out. They just did the Law Library incident, picking up chairs, whooping ass as soon as they got to the building. I'm not gonna lie, the homies started turning up because even the captain had to get, the big homies for the Bloods, and they come talk to us and say that, yo, Law Libraries visiting floors. Those are neutral grounds. Let's not do that no more because that lose visits. We have people that's trying to fight to go home. That let the law library be, neutral grounds. But it took homies to do sacrifices so we can actually go to the library. You know what I'm saying?
So eventually you get out of jail.
Yep.
Okay, and do you go straight to the studio and you start working?
Nah, what I did was I went upstate from Rikers Island. I did my time, same shit, different toilet, but it was a little bit smoother. But I go home from the box. I did a year in the box.
Okay, so you do a year in the box, you come home, and is this where you kind of meet Pop Smoke and Fivio Foreign and everybody?
No, what happened was I came home and I went to start publishing my book, but in the meantime, I didn't have no connections in the music industry, so I went and invested into a luxury Sprinter. When I had the luxury Sprinter, I was starting to get bookings from rappers, and then that's when I met Pop Smoke. Shout out to Beard, they all G Stones and things of that nature. At this time, we already converted to A-Trays. We already got all the front lines. We A-Tray now. Everybody's A-Tray because everybody got cleaned up. So we still was under the gangster card. The homies that support Pop Smoke, they was G Stones. G Stones still fall under the gangster card. So we started doing business with them. And shout out to Bear, shout out to Bam, and Trav and all of them. Those dudes were solid brothers that had a vision of entrepreneurship. And Pop Smoke, he was, I don't think it would, he definitely made good music, but I think what made him successful was that he always was like the cool kid, like super calm, never arrogant, never cocky. He was never nothing like that. His whole mindset was every time if a homie showed value, he supported them. He put them on, and he was doing that at 19 as a kid, I remember he interviewed me. He got his first podcast interview was in the Emerge Sprinter. And after that, every time he had an event, he would hire us. Then, while we at Pop Smoke event doing the tour management, bringing some of the get straight to Pop Smoke show, I run into Fivio Foreign. Fivio Foreign, he wasn't signed at this point. He was just heating up. That was when he had Blicky in the box. And he had Blicky in the box at that time. And he had, Gino, he had all of them around him, and he's starting to heat up. And I remember all the A&Rs, because I had like association with a lot of labels at that time because of the tour management, and the company I built was In My Live, which was like a platform for artists to perform. I also managed GGX at that time that did the Money and Violence, so I had a little relationship with a lot of labels at that time. And they used to ask, yo, who's the next artist to pop that sound like a similar to Pop Smoke? I was like, yo, Fivio Foreign, I ain't gonna lie. I said Fivio Foreign. Candyman asked me that. I put him on to Candyman. Jerry and Bless, they started linking up. That's Fivio management right now. And then they started taking off. Word.
Okay, and were you around when Fivio Foreign and Pop Smoke met?
Yeah, they was already together. Pop Smoke was already kind of supporting Fivio's career at that time. When Fivio wasn't signed yet, Pop Smoke was always there supporting Fivio Foreign. But over time, they had a little bit of tension amongst each other, but it was not no real tension. It was more so of just like brothers that get annoyed with each other, And I remember one time, cause Jerry, he A-Tray, he on the same ship as me. He manages Fivio. He called me. He like, yo, man, I think it's gonna be a situation, with Pop Smoke. And I'm like, word. I mean, that shit about to be dead heat. That shit ain't. They brothers, but it was tension. I'm not gonna lie. That shit was crazy. The Pop Smoke pulls up. The homie that was part of that Bobby, the GS9 indictment, what's Cuz name? Huh? Yeah, Fetty. He pulls up. Couple of Pop Smoke's associates pulls up. We pull up with Fivio, and this is now Fivio's already on the move now. He's being signed, and they just had a little tension that Pop Smoke felt like he wasn't being appreciated by Fivio Foreign, but at the same time, Fivio Foreign just getting to the door. So when he did his interviews, he was just highly focused. So he ain't really. I don't think he mean anything by it. He just that when he gets interviews, he's trying to knock out what he need to knock out. He's trying to hit the certain pain points and things of that nature. So he never really fully, at that time, acknowledged, Pop Smoke support. But Pop Smoke, he was kind of high on perk. That's the cuz, you heard? So he was in his mood, he was in his vibe. So when they were talking in the studio, you see them like flaring up. 5 or 4, he drunk out of his mind, so he don't even know what's going on. You know what I mean? But that shit was funny that night. I ain't gonna hold you.
Were you there when it happened?
Yeah, I was there. I was right in the studio. But there was no altercations, no fights. It was just two brothers that was happy to make it. And I just felt like Pop Smoke was more of the lovey type, because some people love a little different. Pop Smoke was more like the type that he just want to share love and spread love. Fivio is like that too, but Fivio was just in the stage of his transition where he's more so, I'm just trying to focus and not fuck up. So he didn't, when he does his interviews, he was just kind of focused on his projects and things of that nature, But they love each other, man. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. And I'm proud of Fivio that what he doing now. You see what he do, #1 verse on Kanye. He signed to Columbia. He's leveling up, album about to drop. So shout out to the homies,
Yeah, man. New York, has a big movement going on with the drill scene, and Pop Smoke kind of being like the head guy at the time. Man, it was huge.
Mm-hmm. You know what it is though? Pop Smoke, what made him successful was that his humility. Every day he was just kind of listening and taking notes and observing everything that's going on around him. So it's like when you be in his presence, even if you was a hater, you didn't hate him at that moment. Like when you see him. I remember me and the artist, me and the Frontline Avengers, like now we're transitioning back to the music because I got 3 artists that I'm signed to, that's signed to our record label. We opened up for Pop Smoke in Connecticut. And that was his first show. That was his first show back into the United States because he was kind of banned from performing in the United States at that time because of the gang culture and the things that was going on. So he went overseas and got crazy. So when he came back, he was in CT, right? We was in CT. We opened up. I mean, of course, I ain't gonna lie. The Frontline Avengers, when we perform, we tore that shit up. We brought the homies, we deep and shit like that. But we was just still considered like new artists, even though we did a good show. We sold a bunch of tickets on our own platform. When he came out, the love was different. Like it felt like the stadium was shaking, And he always conveyed that. Him and his brother was doing the woo walk. He made that shit viral. You know what I mean? Yeah, Pop Smoke is definitely a legend, man. Shout out to rest in peace to the homie. Word.
Yeah, definitely rest in peace, Pop Smoke, man. One thing I noticed about Pop Smoke is, all artists after they die, they get a pretty good following. But it seemed like when he died, he got like extra, more than normal, more than what I normally see, man. And I think a lot of people just kind of learned about Pop Smoke for the first time when he died. Unfortunately, they didn't really, get to experience Pop Smoke as much as, some other artists.
You know what it is? I think he was way too young. I mean, I think the youngest rapper that died, I think they was in Chicago. But he was actually on. He's like 20 years old. He's not barely a man. And he actually was the face of like Canarsie, Brooklyn at that time. Canarsie, you know, they always was a part of Brooklyn that got money, but no rappers really came out of there. And he made Brooklyn look good because Brooklyn was always known to be on some grimy rapper, you know, rob you, things of that nature. Pop Smoke, he made Brooklyn, he showed the getting money side of Brooklyn at a very young age. Even though Biggie Smalls, you know, he was fly back then, but he still started with the, you know, cracking your nuts, cracking your asshole in the corner, with the ooh. He was still on some grindy shit and Puffy cleaned him up. But Pop Smoke from the gate came out like that, you know, with that woo movement. So that's what made him different, you know? It was like a gangster and gentleman type swag for Brooklyn. That was a big loss for Brooklyn. Word.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke, man. That was fucked up, man. I hated to see it, man. Like I was, you know, just like I'd only really been, you know, up on Pop Smoke for a couple months too, man. And I really liked his music. I was like, yo, this dude's gonna be huge, man, at some point.
Man, 50 Cent knew what he was doing, man. He saw that movement. He was like, I gotta get a piece of that. You heard? He was like, I gotta get a piece. Let me get that. I'm producing that for free. I gotta get, you know. So he had to get on that. Like, it was an honor though. He definitely had the streets on lock, you know, and it was fast. I think that was like a year and a half, right? Like it was only like a year and a half. I didn't see an artist develop on that level and magnitude, you know, in such a fast pace. Like he was worldwide. He wasn't like when he didn't get shows in America, he was in Europe going crazy, going viral. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Cuz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Shout out Pop Smoke, man.
What's something you wish people would know about your challenges to success, and like what's a big obstacle you had to overcome and how?
The main obstacle I had to overcome was learning how to build business credit, to be honest. You know, because sometimes a lot of people think that all this money, you know, is just going to be harder on cash. Sometimes you got to learn how to leverage your money. Relationships was more important than money as well. You know, that was a big thing. And so I kind of like to watch and pay attention. And if somebody has more than me in some form of fashion, I like to remain humble and learn and then execute myself. So that was a big thing. So the obstacle, you know, to overcome is just your whole mindset, because success is a mindset. You know, success, you can't just, you know, think you just gonna wake up and you lit. You know, you gotta take your time and pay attention and overcome those things, and that comes from within, you know? Word. Beast Boy.
It's the one and only rock star Odd, okay, Frontline Avenger, and my hero is Ghost Rider. Gang,
My
don't be
son,
a joker.
don't be a joker.
Who's that, Beast Boy?
Yeah. Go ahead, T up. I ain't go to the camera and show you this your shit, yo.
Beast Boy, Superman, don't be a joker.
I mean, you got Quest. You already know. I bet you already know what it's self-explanatory. You got Static Shock.
AKA Static Shock, one and only. Frontline Avengers, the outside. The Energizer.
That's just the Hulk. He don't rap.
I don't rap, I protect, I put anybody on their back, they mess with my front.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got Rex.
Rex Savage. I'm
You got Rex Savage, feel me? AKA Venom, feel me? 1/3 of the Holy Trinity, feel me?
You know what I'm saying? Good at the bow. You know what I'm saying? And you know this black superhero, and this, you know, the reason why I say black superheroes, because sometimes the perception of just black people could be victimized. You know, with the Black Lives Matter movement coming like that, we was kind of had perceived as victims. This pushing the black superhero narrative is just to say that, you know, we could save ourselves and we are strong too, and we could overcome any obstacle. You know, so that's the reason why, you know, we take on the persona of, you know, superheroes versus, you know, the gangster movement or the villainous mindset. You know, we just want to have fun, overcome these obstacles. Our main ops is poverty. You know, we banging on poverty every day. We banging on ignorance every day. You know, we begging on you know, Guineas and jokers every day, you know, and that's why we here. We moving to the front of the line, and we don't got next. We got now. You know what I'm saying? We don't wait on nothing. We just move to the front of the line, and that's why we gangsters. We superheroes. You feel me?
Why do you grind so hard? You're reaching success. Why continue? What's the end game? And when is the mission complete?
All right, so, you know, I built this brand called, I got a couple of brands I'm building. You know, I got two lives, even though, you know, I'm Brooklyn Batman, I got a Bruce Wayne life. You know what I'm saying? And we building a bunch of businesses. I got a technology company. We over there on Wall Street. I have a luxury transportation company right now that we cater to artists. We done did tour management with Fivio and Pop Smoke. We done work with some of the biggest party promoters from Crazy Larry, worked with Little Kim. We even drove around Puffy Kids a couple of times. Justin Combs and, you know, we just dealt with a lot of celebrities, Smokey Mangella, you name it. And that was like our entry to the industry. Me, I came in, I wrote a book called Seeds in the Concrete while I was in prison. And me going through all those trauma and the game culture and things of that nature, because it left a lot of oppression on the mental state of mind that, you know, at one time I could have been successful. So when I came back from my first bid, because my first bid is while I was in jail in prison, we went through a transformation stage where Crips that wanted to be more educated and focus a platform of loyalty, it was a movement called the Frontlines. With that mentality, our mission statement was to open up businesses, legitimate businesses and things of that nature, so we can propel and move forward. So a lot of the little homies that's coming under us, they don't go to prison in the group homes and foster care agencies that we went through, you know? So we started a Crip movement called Frontlines, and a lot of us was all over the place from, you know, Grape Streets, Get Straights, Hoovers, A-Trays, shout out to GS, you know? All different sets. And when we started coming home, we started heavy on like going back to school, getting your driver license, getting your business. Me, I actually got help by a blood cat. Shout out to Stack Stone. You might have heard of him on a lot of interviews and things of that nature. Stack Stone, he was in a program at the parole unit, and he put me into a school called Defy Ventures to get me on my feet. And I starting to kind of click that, you know, every enemy ain't your enemy, every friend ain't your friend, every homie ain't your homie, you know? That started kind of clicking to my mind state. But going through all of that trauma in the childhood, that's why I started these businesses. And I wrote that book, Seeds in the Concrete, while I was doing a year in Governor Box. Right now, you know, that Seeds in the Concrete is a book. I'm gonna give you a copy of that motivated our clothing line, SITC. Right now it's in the process of becoming a TV show. I don't want to say we got a couple production companies that's overlooking it, but they got some backing over there in Hollywood. I wrote it to be a movie, but I also wrote the pilot to have a TV series where they focus on all the outside characters. But the book and the concept of Seeds in the Concrete is that your mind is a cup, and anything that you put in the cup, the smell of it is going to be a reality. So if you put shit in your cup, gangs, drugs, poverty, jail, prison, that's all you know. That's all you're going to strive for. That's all you're going to believe in, right? But if you put coffee, fruit juice, the things you want in life, wealth, riches, love, success. If you're a writer, you hang out with librarians. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to hang out with businessmen, you know? And you educate yourself, and you see these things on a daily basis. Like the term is called cognitive therapy, and it's your form of reprogramming your psychological makeup. so you could propel yourself. So that's how I became successful in the things of nature. That's why, you know, I pride myself and mimic myself as a black superhero, because I overcome the shit that where I come from, you're not gonna be human. And I fully desire that the understanding and the knowledge that I got to reprogram myself, I want to share that with the homies the little homies that's going through what we going through. You know, like I got artists that called the Frontline Avengers. You got 8atman, Quest, Rex Savage, and I'm not gonna lie, yo, shout it out, no disrespect to any of the underground artists. We literally the best artists out. And I'm not talking about, I don't give a fuck about your marketing campaigns, your rollouts. I'm talking about talent, skill, and delivery. They've been in artist development, which that's not even practiced in this day and age in the music world. They've been in artist development for a year and a half. The tracks they got, the movement they got, they also perform crazy. Their production is crazy. Their beat selection is crazy. Their concepts is crazy. Their branding is crazy. And we about to do a crazy rollout, man. We about to do a distribution, man. Frontline Avengers moving to the front of the line. That's a fact. We recently just got off a tour with DJ Who Kid. You familiar with DJ Who Kid?
Yep.
Yeah, we got on tour with DJ Who Kid, and that was a 30-city state. And off before that, we just kept on throwing these mansion parties. And I think, like, I honestly believe that I throw the best parties in New York City. You know?
Okay.
Like, I think our news go, you know, we go viral. The BK Batcave party. Everybody know that. Celebrities pull up when we throw the mansion party, you know? And with this project going on that we about to build, Plague of a Dark Generation, we got a comic book coming out with DJ Who Kid as the narrator. And I think there need to be more black superheroes instead of gangsters and drug dealers going to jail in the neighborhoods, you know? So be on the lookout for that Plague of a Dark Generation. It's gonna be an NFT. I'm giving 15% of the royalties out to those that cop the NFT. 200 positions, 1 Ethereum, and it's lit. You know? Might as well get some of that. Come cop that. You feel me? Plague on the Dark Generation coming out. Seeds in the Concrete TV show about to come out. And we outside.
That's what's up, man. Dope interview, man. I appreciate you sharing your story. You know, it was dope.
Nah, thank you, man. We wrapping it up. You already know.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, all right, bro. We'll talk to you, man.
All right.